Alright, today's lesson is on comparing fractions, and we're just going to start with a simple word problem. So we're going to start with Molly, Sarah, and James shared a chocolate bar. Molly ate 1/4 of the bar, and Sarah ate 2/4 of the bar. The questions we need to answer are who ate more, and how much of the bar was left. So we're going to start by drawing our chocolate bar. We know that Molly ate 1/4 of the bar. So I'm going to create a chocolate bar, a fraction bar to represent my chocolate bar. So here is Molly's portion, and I know that Sarah ate 2/4 of the bar. So this is Sarah's bar, and I can compare my fraction bars to see who ate more. And looking at these fractions, I know that Sarah ate more, that 2/4 is more than 1/4. So I can say Sarah ate more. And then my second question is how much of the bar is left? So we can add our fractions. And we learned this week that when our denominators are the same, all we have to do are add our numerators together. So I know that 1/4 plus 2/4 equals 3/4. So I'm going to create a new fraction bar for both of those. There's 3/4. And our next question is how much of the bar was left? Well, we can look at this chocolate bar and see that 3 out of 4 are shaded in, and we have 1 out of 4 left. So how much of the bar was left? It would be 1/4. Alright, our next problem says Diego, Paula, and Kiana each ate part of the other chocolate bars. Diego ate 2/3 of a bar, Paula ate 2/5 of a bar, and Kiana ate 5/6 of a bar. Who ate more, Diego or Paula? So the first thing I'm going to do is draw my chocolate bars to represent Diego's portion and Paula's portion. So Diego ate 2/3. So there's Diego's bar. And Paula ate 2/5. And there's Paula's bar. And when I compare them, I know that Diego ate more because 2/3 is more than 2/5. So one way to tell is just by drawing our fraction bars and comparing them to each other. Another way to tell is by looking at our denominator. Since our numerators are the same, we can look at the denominator and see where is the biggest difference between 5 and 2 or 3 and 2. And I know that the biggest difference is between 5 and 2, so I know this is a smaller portion. 2/3 is greater than 2/5. And that's how we know. Alright, let's move on to our next problem. Okay, right now I just want you to pause your computer for a minute, and I want you to take these fractions that are floating here in the blue space and put them into 3 columns. So grab a piece of scratch paper and label it less than 1/2, equal to 1/2, and greater than 1/2. And then put these fractions out here into one of those 3 columns. Okay, when you've finished, let's go ahead and place these in the right category and check your work. So here is 1/2 represented by a pie chart. And we've worked a lot lately with equivalent fractions and fractions that are less than or greater than 1/2. So instead of making pie charts for all of these, we're just going to go ahead and put them in the right category and you can check your work. So let's start with 1/4. I know that 1/4 is less than 1/2. 3/6. Since 3 is half of 6, I know that this is equal to 1/2. Then I move over to 1/3. I know that 1/3 is less than 1/2. 8/10. Well, half of 10 is 5, and since 8 is greater than 5, this would be greater than 1/2. 3/4. We can think about this like quarters. We've talked about this a lot lately. If we know that 4 quarters equals $1, if we have 3 out of 4 quarters, we have 75 cents, which is more than 1/2. So I'm going to put that over there. 3/9. We know that if we double 3, it would be 6, so this is going to be less than a half, since our denominator is larger. 2/8 is less than a half. 9/12. We know that half of 12 is 6, and since 9 is greater than that, we know that 9/12 is greater than a half. 6/12. 6 is half of 12, so that would be equal to a half. And 5/10. 5 is half of 10, so that would be equal to 1/2. So double check your work and make sure you have all of these in the right column. Okay, this is your practice problem for this evening, and I'm going to walk you through it before you begin and do it by yourself. Martin brought 18 quarters to the arcade. He spent half of the quarters on video games and 1/3 of them on skee-ball. So the 4 questions that you need to answer tonight are, how much money did he spend on video games? How much money did he spend on skee-ball? How much money did he have left? And what fraction of the total is that? So the first thing you need to do is figure out how much 18 quarters is worth. So find the total amount of money that you have here. Then we know that he spent half of his money on video games, so we need to find half of your whole to answer the first question. What is half of your whole? We know that he spent 1/3 of his money on skee-ball. So once you figure out what your total is, we need to figure out what 1/3 of your whole is. So we have 18 quarters here, so you could use this strategy. You could figure out what 1/3 of 18 is, and then count up that many quarters. You could figure out what half of 18 is here, and then count up your quarters. And then the next question is, how much money did he have left? So we'll just count the quarters that we have left after we've added these 2 answers together. And then it says, what fraction of the total is that? And that's your challenge question for tonight. So be prepared to discuss these 4 questions tomorrow, and be prepared to explain what strategy you use to solve these problems. Good luck!